Are you putting in the effort but not seeing the gains you deserve? It's not about training harder, it's about training smarter. So let's dive into 5 key strategies that will maximize your progress. Let's start off with intensity. So we know that to grow muscle, we have to expose ourselves to new stimuluses that we've never felt before. So progressive overload is something where every single time you go into the gym, you're trying to expose the muscle to something it's never done before, because it's only going to evolve when it is unfamiliar with what is going on. It's a response to a stimulus it is not used to. So it grows muscle, repairs muscle tissue to become stronger to that stimulus. If you're in the gym and you always pick the same weights, you're obviously not going to grow. However, you don't always have to just chase heavier weight. There's other ways we can increase intensity, and it isn't just a one solution issue. You have to be smart. Not one tool can be used in every scenario for every single person. So instead of just increasing the weight, we can increase the reps, trying to do more reps at the same weight. Because if we just constantly chase increased weight, we're going to see injury and decrease in form and deterioration in that form. So, increasing the amount of reps you're doing at a lighter weight is one way to create new stimulus, because you're exposing your muscles to something it's never been exposed to, which is a higher rep range. And then we can spend more time in the set. So for example, if you do 8 reps of a barbell back squat and it takes you 20 seconds, if you then slow those squats down and you still do 8 reps, but you take double the length of time to complete them, slow, control, negative, nice, easy, concentric on the way back up, driving through the sticking point, you are now spending 40 seconds doing that. So you're now increasing the stimulus because you're spending more time in that set. Now, these can be very, very useful. But then when trying to pick a rep range, it can become difficult, because when you're using different strategies, it's hard to determine what rep range to go for. So it very much depends on your energy levels, how you're feeling that day, if you're ready to push. A strategy I quite like just now is going for a initial couple of warm-up sets, a heavy set, then a back-off set. A very popular strategy, and one I use sometimes, is trying to match my reps across the sets. Now, say you have 12 reps over 3 sets, you're trying to get 12 reps every single time. A common issue with this, though, is people pick too easy of a weight to get those 12 reps. What we're trying to do is fight the fatigue as the sets go on, because if we're fatiguing, those 12 reps on that third set should be much more difficult to try and achieve. But we can't always do that. So, trying to use intensity as a measure instead of just focusing on reps and weight is a much more efficient way at growing muscle mass. Number 2, mastering the mind-muscle connection. So this is going into a set with intention, knowing what muscle you're trying to work and executing that form in a way that you are maximizing how much that muscle is working. So the mind-muscle connection is just about connecting with that muscle to try and feel it going through its lengthening portion, it contracting, it squeezing at the top. Now, what this does is develops the neuromuscular connection. So you're developing your brain, you're developing your central nervous system to connect with this muscle. However, in doing so, you're also learning how to control and how to activate that muscle more. So if this is something you struggle with, what you can do is use an isolation exercise to connect with that muscle before then applying it into a compound exercise. So, for example, if you're struggling with quad activation when you are doing a barbell back squat and you might find that other muscles are taking over, do some leg extensions so that you know how those muscles feel when they're working. Light, not to fatigue, but just to feel them, and then go into your squats. When you're trying to target a certain muscle in the back, try not to use your arms, try not to use your biceps, try to actually target the back. And then when you're trying to do an exercise, tweak that exercise based on how you feel, makes that exercise harder for hitting that intended area. Don't just do an exercise to do the exercise, do it with intention. Number 3, incorporate compound movements. Now, it's really easy to follow a bodybuilding split where we neglect these and we just focus on isolations and machines. However, exercises like squats, deadlifts, bench, rows, shoulder press, they're all fantastic for growing muscle because primarily they grow your strength. And if you're getting stronger, we can very much assume that you are putting on muscle mass. So we don't want to be able to max out a leg press, but we can't even squat 100 or 120 because we're not getting any functional strength. And those compound exercises are called compound exercises for a reason. They recruit a large amount of muscles at the one time. This then means that you're getting an overall developed physique, not just one that you're picking and choosing different isolation machines to rely upon. I do think the best looking physiques come from people that are very strong in these compound lifts, because slabs of muscle do get put on when you focus on getting just stronger. That's really important. And that then goes into my 4th point. Your nutrition is absolutely crucial for muscle growth. If you focus on fueling your workouts properly so that you feel stronger and you can perform better, and using those compound lifts as a measure of this, you will see much more progress. Now, a lot of people do not have any sort of understanding of nutrition, and it is one of the biggest faults I see. A small amount of knowledge on nutrition can go a very, very long way. So knowing how much protein to hit for your body weight is really, really important based off of your goals. Knowing when to utilize carbs pre-workout to fuel your workouts is extremely important to make sure that those workouts are effective and that you have energy in those heavy sets and in those later reps on your lighter isolation stuff. And then having fats, not having too many fats that you're blowing your calories through the roof, because there's 9 calories per 1 gram of fat, whereas there's only 4 calories per 1 gram of protein and per 1 gram of carbohydrates. So not having too much fats, because you can get yourself into a very unhealthy both physique and also performance, how your body function and health, but not having too low fats, because fats are crucial for supporting your hormones. So when you understand how to properly dial in your nutrition, that physique, the goal that you're looking for, comes so much faster. When you're half-arsing it, or barely even trying, not tracking your calories, not sticking to some form of plan, not structuring your meals, just eating what you want, you are guaranteeing slow progress, and you're leaving results on the table that are so easy to claim, but you're just not taking action on dialing in your nutrition. And the last and final reason is implementing proper recovery techniques. Now, this spans a lot of information and a lot of different things. It is a wide topic. So, first off, speaking about sleep, you need to sleep 7 to 9 hours. When you work out and you rip down the muscles, you tear down the muscles, your sleep is when they recover. If your sleep is horrific, if you're staying up to 11, 12, 1 a.m. and waking up dead late, you're not getting consistent sleep, or you're not even getting 7 hours, you are not letting your body recover, and you're not letting your body go into a rhythm of its internal body clock called the circadian rhythm. So by doing that, you're not optimizing your sleep and you're not getting your potential gains from that. So making sure that you're implementing a bedtime routine that not just helps you set up for the next day by organizing your stuff, organizing your bag, your nutrition, but also one that helps you produce melatonin by relaxing you and calming you down, will mean that you are getting a better, deeper sleep. So that then goes into stress management. I think just before bed, making sure you're doing some form of mind management is really, really important. Because let's be honest, once you turn off the screens, once you turn off the distractions, that's when your thoughts start going haywire. So, making sure you're doing something as part of your bedtime routine that relaxes you. Now, no phones, no screens should be involved 30 minutes to 45 minutes before your bedtime. So this is a perfect opportunity to really engineer your bedtime routine, making sure that you're doing something like journaling, reading, stretching, foam rolling, breath work. The list goes on, painting, drawing, but it's something that helps you de-stress and lower levels of cortisol in your body is going to be another extremely effective way at growing more muscle, because higher levels of cortisol then start playing havoc on other hormones, which then results in less muscle mass going on. So doing that is then making sure that your recovery is even better. Then practicing things like foam rolling and mobility work. This doesn't help particularly with muscle growth. However, it avoids stiffness, tightness, muscle imbalances, and it stops injuries occurring later on down the line. So making sure that you are resting on your rest days, you then implement some form of mobility work that can really be anything. Because doing 15 minutes a week of mobility work is better than doing nothing. And you can gradually build up from there as you start to feel the benefits. And my final point is making sure that you actually have rest days. A lot of people push workouts too much. They try to do too much. More doesn't always mean more. More workouts doesn't mean more results. When you pull back, increase intensity on those pull back workouts and use that time to then focus on things like stress management, like your sleep, like your schedule, like your recovery, you are then optimizing the results you are getting. And 9 times out of 10, someone that does less workouts, more effective, is going to see more results than someone that does 7 days a week, 6 days a week, but then has a terrible routine outside of the gym. So all this information can be sometimes overwhelming. Inside Renegade, we work off of 3 pillars: identifying purpose, routine, and progress. With the guys, we make sure that we are identifying each one of these areas, simplifying and telling you exactly what it is you need to be focusing on to get the biggest bang for your buck without getting things overly complicated. Just focusing on the most crucial aspects. Once those are nailed, we can then build from there. It's quite hard to do this on your own without having structure, without having a blueprint to go through. So, I hope this video is giving you value. If you found value, let me know in the comments by sharing which factor was the most meaningful to you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Come check out my Instagram at Renegade Coaching to see what I'm up to there and for more quick fire tips. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me there and I can help you make sure that you're optimizing your routine to optimize your muscle growth.